Can you guess which job I'm going to be doing today? Probably not. I'm going to be doing something than this. Look at the flex on that. This Honda isn't mine. It belongs to the senior mustard. Not the senior man mustard, but the senior not man mustard. You know, the opposite of man. It's just been in for its MOT and it's failed. But that's not a problem because now it's been fixed. Brake lines all sorted out, but there is something else it needs as well. It wouldn't take long to guess it actually. Just look how incredibly dull these headlamps are. The obvious method to clean these lamps up is with water and wet and dry sandpaper of 800 grit there. Action shot. What do you reckon that sound is? Sounds like one of those, like a big American bike, doesn't it? No, it's not. It's a Range Rover. Strange, right? Do that again. That's one done. Time for the other. Wow, what a transformation! Looks like a nice car now. Smooth. That's nice. Yeah, right. Waster. Waster's going to be wasted. I'm not going to fix it. No. So, before anybody gets all like that about this car, here are 10 reasons why this car's not being saved. The first one is that it's tatty. And you might say, yeah, but Max is even more tatty. And you might say that because it is much more tatty. But that's interesting. And that is worthwhile saving. The inside is all mouldy and smelly. Yep, I know that's not a very good reason, but it's one of them. The engine sounds like it's been run on that special oil. Do you know the stuff I mean? Yeah, I can't think of its name. That special oil that has gravel in it. That's the colour of it as well. The seats aren't very good, I'm afraid, and they're a bit mouldy, but they can be cleaned. And yes, I know, that's my fault. I took the nice seats out to put into a better car. But, you know, I made a nicer car. It needs tyres. Yeah, I know, that's another rubbish reason. But it's one of many. Because it also needs something underneath. When I drove, it was making a horrible clattering, knocking noise. And I haven't even investigated that. And that's just the noise I could hear. It also has a broken spring. Now the Rover 45 has pretty durable suspension as well, so how it ended up clattering and knocking like that, I don't know, but it's not good. The car also doesn't run. And, you know, I don't know why, but I think it's the BCU, and I haven't got a spare one, and it would mean having to deal with that as well. For a car that still might not even run. Might have something to do with the fuel. It probably is the BCU. The heater blower doesn't work. So that's another thing, another small thing. Again, that might be my fault actually. It might also be worthwhile having a look at these tyres and thinking about why they're so badly worn, because there's grip that side, but none there. This one's even worse, loads of tread, then right down to the core. Also, the boot is soaking wet in here and it stinks. So the tracking is clearly a very, very long way off. But how could it be that far off? And that's the trouble, you see. It could be something much more serious. I don't know how many reasons I've given so far because I've lost count. It's probably not 10, but it's going to be close on. But there is another one as well. And that is that this car is just a high mileage diesel facelift car. And I don't value the facelift as much as the early model. High mileage in itself isn't really a problem as far as I'm concerned, but the trouble is a high mileage car that sounds rough means that it's a high mileage car that's had a hard life, and it's only going to be just a run around for someone to crash into a lamppost and then end up getting scrapped. So I may as well just deal with it myself, help a few other people out, a few other cars, and myself. Door cards, the vents are smashed, the headlining is wrecked, and that sounds horrid. Much nicer. Can you believe it? The facelift models don't even have any sound deadening material on the door. Such a cheapskate car. I think I have said this before, but when I first got into Rovers, the cheap Rovers were ones like these over here, and I was really impressed by their build quality. If cars like that were the cheap Rovers when I was getting into them, I simply wouldn't have got into them. I probably would have ended up being a Vauxhall man. Ugh, it's enough to make me cringe. The time is now 4 o'clock, and it's taken me until this time before I've even put on the Tony and the Bandit. You simply don't need safety boots for polishing headlamps, but now I have a much bigger, more painful job to do. Painful on the hands, certainly painful on the feet if it goes wrong. So I'm going to move Nigel and Christine over there, and then that big pile of bricks is going to find its way over here. There's a strange one. Nigel is switched on now, not that you can tell off the rev counter, but he didn't want to start then. The fuel pump wasn't priming for some reason. That's not the kind of thing I want to be something to look forward to in the future. As you can see, and then this area here where there is room easily for 2 cars stretched out, it was just basically bog. So this is where I want, tripped over something. This is where I want to concentrate all of my efforts moving bricks around to. There is quite a lot of brick there, but will it be enough to fill this space? No, of course it won't. But I can make a start, I can get some of it, I can get bricks from all around the yard, and then pick up bits of stuff from anywhere else, you know, happily take it all, bung it down there at the end. It's a big job. Someone's got to do it. That's me. See how Alfie's doing after his polishing yesterday. As you can see, or maybe you can see, maybe you can't, it looks rather dirty again. That always happens when you do some polishing work. Any bits that you don't entirely get off tends to attract dirt, so dirt sticks to it, and you've got bits that run out from all the creases and things like that, and any traps, so it ends up looking worse a couple of days later. The other week when I brought all these bricks over from over there, it took me ages, so any idea at all to speed that process up? A box. There's actually more bricks than what I thought. That pile over there doesn't seem to be going down. I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea because I've been working there for a good hour, and for a change I actually deserve it. I would say I've moved about half of that now, and how much? So I should be able to fill in this space just here, completely filled in. That's the plan. And then every time I find a brick, I'm just going to bung it down there. And there are lots of bricks in this yard, just scattered about all over the place. But anyway, now I'm going to move Nigel and set about going home and wait for the sciatica to kick in, because it will. Oh yes, I'm in for a fun night. For those of you that have hung around right the way to the end of this video, thank you very much. You are superb. You are brilliant followers. Yep, you're my favourites. And also, I may as well tell you about my thoughts for the future of some of my cars, because it's a shame, of course, that Waster is going to be a Waster. But what about this? You know that Alfie, of course, is being restored as best as I can manage, and I've even got some jobs planned over the next couple of days. But what about Max and all of its dents everywhere? Well, here's my idea. I'm going to be learning how to spray. Yeah, spray, and then my plan is that car's going to have a proper, as best as I can do, restoration. What I am thinking is that when I'm confident with spraying and I've got the bits of gear that's a need for this, I shall buy the paint for a full respray and then convert my lockup briefly into a spray booth with it all dust-free area. And I might be making this sound like I think it's an easy job. I don't. I think it's going to be a very difficult job, and I think I'm going to be very frustrated and end up wondering why I've started doing it. But that's my thought. That's what I want to do. It will be a proper restoration job that might work. That's the future. Yes, I've made my mind up.